Hello, and welcome to Getting to Know Your Friends. I'm Zach Rowland, your host, and tonight, my friend Maggie Cargill.
Oh,
Yeah!
Yeah!
All right. Yeah, thanks for coming, Maggie.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks
back.
for having me. I am.
You're like McRib. You're back.
By popular demand.
By popular demand.
I am.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. For those of you who don't know Maggie, she left the United States of America to travel to New Zealand and explore and do fun things. And
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you thousands of questions about the Hobbit lore that's there because I'm a super nerd.
Yes.
And that's what I do. But to get us started off, Maggie, tell us about you, where you come from. Let's start with the beginning. Where hometown?
Okay. Well, I was born in Ohio, actually.
Really?
Yes, I lived there for 5 whole days.
5 days. Which city?
Dayton.
Dayton. I almost said Dayton. It came out like it's so immediate. Like it's either Dayton or Columbus. Everything's Dayton
That's
or
so
Columbus.
Funny. Yeah, no, I root for them like in college basketball.
Good.
I'm like, yeah, go Dayton.
Good.
Yep. And then I was actually adopted, and my parents lived in Chicago, and so we went home, ish, suburbs. Not actually Chicago. Chicago suburbs.
Sure.
Lived there till I was about 8, and then I moved up to Overland Park here in the Kansas City area.
Yep. On the Kansas side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've been here ever since.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in that time, did you skip around a lot to schools, or did you stay like you had a pretty steady school structure?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I went to the elementary school down the street, the middle school down the street, the high school down the street. And it was all same friends, same. Pretty, typical, nothing too exciting.
Right, and that was all in Chicago? Or was that some of
that was
here?
Here. Most of it, I moved here when I was 8.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
most of that was here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why did I totally
That's okay.
missed out.
That's okay.
8. The timelines are matching up.
Listen.
I know, right? Oh, so terrible. All right. So where did you go to high school?
I went to Blue Valley North.
Blue Valley North.
Blue Valley North.
Interesting, because I was a Shawnee Mission kid.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
Are we gonna have a problem?
I was Shawnee Mission North, to be specific.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least you weren't like east.
No,
That's
we
fine.
weren't.
That's
We were
okay.
not as
North is
pretentious as East. The Lancers. Ugh, those guys. Yeah. Cool. So what did you do in high school? Like what activities?
Well, I did mostly theater stuff. My parents did say, you have to get a job. And of course, at the time, I was like, okay, Mom. So I got a job at a vet clinic, and I worked there 3 days a week after school. And I also did theater. I wanted to audition for things. But the way that the theater program was worked out was that I could do theater stuff, but I had to do tech. I couldn't be in the shows because the rehearsals were every single day.
Yeah.
And so I ended up doing a lot of tech. I ended up stage managing my senior year.
Yeah.
Learned carpentry skills, lighting, all that good stuff.
Wow.
And that's high school also is where I ended up beginning with my improv career.
Cool.
As well, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that like there's an improv presence in the Kansas City public schools, especially on that side of it with Blue Valley and Shawnee Mission, Olathe. I know all of them. Their drama teachers teach some form of improv. Did you learn short form or long form?
Short form.
Short form?
Definitely. We didn't really have much in the way of coaching. We did have, our drama teachers like, yep, you guys can do this. But it wasn't really on the top of his list. And so we did our own thing. We're fortunate enough to have Trish Barong come in and coach us every so often.
Cool.
But mostly it was us just kind of figuring out on our own.
Yeah, and so for those people who don't know, Trish Barong is kind of like a staple in the Kansas City improv scene. She got to work with a lot of really great people back in the early days of the Kansas City Improv Festival, and she's a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, a ball of joy, and she likes to spread that education, and I think that's great because we wouldn't be inspired to do what we do. Right here,
absolutely.
Without those kind of people just giving us their time, and a lot of it's volunteer. They don't really get paid. I've done a lot of volunteer work with high school students, and they really appreciate that, and it gives them that drive to do it. So that's great. So that gave you that drive.
Yeah, I mean, she was actually the reason I wanted to continue with it, because I worked with her at the state thespian conferences in high school, and I was like, this lady's pretty cool. Maybe I should keep doing this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yes.
As Del would say, follow the fear.
Exactly.
Right?
It was. Yep. Oh, yep.
Yeah. Cool. So what then next? You went to KU, right?
I did.
That's
I did go
right.
to KU.
Oh, but now we're going to get into some good stories.
Oh, no, we're not.
Oh, boy. I've got stories for days from KU. No, and we didn't really even, hang out that much, but we...
Didn't we? Were you there when I was there?
A little bit. There was a slight crossover, and I think it was very small, because I was there for 6 years.
Okay.
I went to KU for 6
Okay.
years throughout the 2000s. So I was
what years were you there?
Let's see. I think I was there from 02 to 08.
Oh, okay. See, I was there 07 to 11.
Yeah. So
it would have been like that. Yeah, a little.
Right crossover. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get there. So what did you go to school for?
I majored in anthropology.
Mm-hmm.
I started out pre-vet. That was hard.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for it. I just really wasn't.
Yeah.
I should have stayed home, gone to communities, college, done my prereq or something. I don't know.
Me too.
It just wasn't. I wasn't ready for it, and so I didn't do as well as I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I switched to anthropology because I was still interested in it. I really liked it.
Cool.
But it was a lot easier than calculus.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you get to study people and culture.
Yeah, and I wanted to take that and do maybe forensic pathology or something become bones,
Yeah.
But again, that didn't quite work out, but that's okay. I've got new prospects for the future.
The best laid plans, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then, so you're there and you're doing your stuff, and then lo and behold, what brings you to the improv there? What was tell us the story, what led up to everything that I know of as what became Girl Pop?
Okay, all right. So, I went in the very first semester, and it was right before school. They do, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the theater thing, where you get together before school starts, you go through, you get all the information about auditions, you take a tour. And so I went up there, and my theater buddy, they have current students take in the freshmen and show them around, and he was in the group Stitch Tactics, which was the improv troupe at the time. I know there have been some previously. I don't know if there are at the moment.
I think, I recall Stitch Tactics being there as well. We had a couple of interactions, because I tried to start up an improv troupe when I first got to KU in 2002, and then somewhere along the lines, then Stitch Tactics formed, and I was like, where did they come from?
Hang on. Yeah.
But they're a good group of guys.
Oh.
And gals.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh. Bless them.
Yeah.
They were my reason for staying there at KU.
Awesome.
Because I was, like I said, having such a hard time. But I was like, these people are my friends, and this is awesome.
Yes.
And so I was wearing actually my t-shirt from my high school troupe. I was like, I guess I'll wear this. Maybe I'll, be a conversation piece. And he was like, hey, this is an improv. I do an improv thing. You should come to the improv thing. And it was just, just went from there.
Right.
I was terrified, and I thought, I'll just go once, and maybe we'll see. I don't know if I like it. And I just made myself go, and I started off pretty rough.
As we all do.
But, we played yes and it just quickly became no, but. Mm-hmm. So.
It's so hard to think about
failure.
that. Yeah, and think about the age you're at, too, when you're kind of developing your own sensibility about the world. Because in high school, let's face it, guys, in high school, we're not really... We don't know who we are.
No.
I went through so many phases in high school I can't count. But in college, I really started to develop a mindset of what the world was and how I felt about it. And so you get into that place where it's like, okay, we're going to do this fun thing. It's all made up.
Yeah.
And we'd like for you to just say the words yes and. And you're like, what? Wait, I got to agree to something and then add information to it?
Whoa, this is hard.
Excuse me.
Hard. And he was just like, okay, let's try this again. I was so embarrassed. I'm like,
do you remember who this was?
I think it was Jordy Altman.
Okay.
Who told me, he said, okay, let's try it again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I failed everyone. I'm terrible at this. This is the worst thing I've ever done. I've been doing this for 2 years already, and I can't handle it.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it, and
good.
Boy, yeah.
Good.
It was, I don't know.
You've got to, yeah. And
worked really hard.
Yeah,
That's what.
It keeps you focused on something that you want to get better at, because, I don't know, for me it was like that moment where I got that taste of people laughing at me, but because I was coming up with stuff in the moment spontaneously.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, it just it felt so good.
Like once
so
you
like,
figure out, you're like, okay, yeah. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You stick with it. Cool. So you were doing stuff with... Now, were you in Stitch Tactics, or were you just, like, working with them?
I
or
was
Jordy?
in, I guess. I can't remember. I don't think there was, like, an official, like, you're in or out.
Yeah.
It was just,
not like sex.
if you want to know,
In or out.
you're just there, I guess. Like, if you want to pay for a t-shirt, then I guess you're in. And if you're in the shows, I guess you're in. There was nothing, like, official about it. It was just whoever shows up to rehearsal gets to be in the shows, and that's kind of how it went.
I would have paid for a t-shirt. I would have been in. I would have totally done that. I would have paid for a t-shirt.
I've got 2 different t-shirts.
Nice.
I'm in twice.
That's funny though, because Hype 7 was the group that I ended up being in first from KU, and I paid for a t-shirt and got it. I had to audition to get in, but I went and played short form games, and they were like, "Cool, you're funny, you're in."
We didn't audition. I mean, it was sort of like whoever wants to play and learn, come play and learn. And there are people that stayed, like I didn't, stay through the whole 4 years or 6 or whatever. Yeah. 5. I know people who were in for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And there are people that came every so often. There are people that came consistently for a semester and we never saw them again. And that was just kind of the way it was. And that's all right. That's okay, you know?
Well, it's college, I mean, that's the whole point, is that you're supposed to experiment and explore and find yourself out. And, you do this thing or that thing or that thing, and eventually it figures itself out.
Yeah.
That's where you go.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so then you went from Stitch Tactics to Girl Prof?
Girl Prof.
Yeah.
Girl Prof.
Can you tell us...
Yes. That's why I'm here. That's what everyone wants to hear about.
Well, I'm not saying that everyone wants to hear about it. I know I want to hear about it, because it was a good time for it. Like, I mean...
It was great.
You guys had a serious thing going on. I mean, a seriously good thing. People were all up into that. And in a great way. Like, it was funny. You guys were lively. I want to know, like, so who were the original members of Girl Pop? Girl Pop. Yeah.
Okay, so it was me, Jackie Kester, Demi Potter, who's in Chicago now.
Cool.
Jackie is living in Spain at the moment. I know, right? Let's see who else. Me, Demi, Jackie, I think Anna Smith, Havana Mahoney, and Brittany Barney. We were the original 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And then it shifted and changed throughout time.
Yeah,
I think I saw that original 6.
I think Anna was in the original 6. I think she was.
Where does Julie fall?
Julie, not Anna. Julie.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I love you, Anna.
Yeah. Anna's great. Julie's great. All of you guys. They were really funny. Yeah. Everybody was so fun. Okay, so then. Yeah. So then where? I think I saw one of your first shows. I don't know. Did you do it at KU or was it at?
I think our very, very, very first show ever was at the Barrel House in Lawrence. And we had been asked to fill a 3-hour slot with improv.
Whoa.
Yeah. We did it, and we didn't like it very much.
Oh.
It was Stitch Tactics. We did like an hour of Stitch Tactics. We had an intermission, and we did like 20-minute set of Girl Prop, and that was our first show. Mm-hmm. And then we did more Stitch Tactics, and like some of the kids in the group got way too drunk because there were like 20 of us.
Sure.
And there were people who were there for the show and people who weren't there for the show and didn't know there was a show, and they wouldn't shut up. And it was a bad venue. Yeah. Like it was great, dueling pianos. That's awesome, but it didn't quite work with improv because the space was so big, and we had 2 microphones for like 20 people. Yeah. And it was hard, and it just didn't quite work out. So we did not go back, but we did it and we gave it a shot. So
yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, I didn't see that one. I think I'd seen something else. You guys were either in like a festival or a showcase of some sort. Somewhere I'd seen you guys early on. Yeah. Because there were 6 of you. I remember.
We did a few at the Fish Tank, and we did a few, I think, at the Granada.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh yeah, I think I did see one in the Granada as well. Yep. Yeah, cool. Okay, so then you did Girl Prof, and then it shifted and changed, and people came and went,
and just depending on school and like I said, Demi went to Chicago and all kinds of stuff. And,
excellent. Okay, until the point where then you decided to leave the country.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you fled. You were just like, adios, amigos.
See ya.
I'm gone.
Well, I mean, Girl Prov had kind of, people decided, they kind of went their separate ways before I left. And so I was doing a little bit with Stitch Tactics, not heaps. Mm-hmm. And then I went to New Zealand.
Yeah. So what drove you there? What drove you there? Because let's face it, guys.
Plane, did.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Touche, salesman. Touche.
The pilot.
The pilot, of course. Come on, guys. Get real. All right. Now, but not mode of transportation. Why did you go to New Zealand?
Well, I was dating a guy at the time, and I'd met him in the States, and we dated for a while, and he's from New Zealand, and then he went back, and we were long distance, and blah, 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 and then he was like, you should come here, and I was like, okay. So, but long story short.
Nice. So you went for a boy.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
How'd it work out?
We're not together.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Okay.
You know, we're still friends.
Yeah.
And that's all right.
All right. But it took you to a whole nother land.
Yes.
And so I gotta know, tell me about it. Like, what did you discover? What did you find? What are the people like? What's going on there?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the people were
lovely. Yeah.
Just lovely. And I mean that in like, you know, some people say like, oh, he's nice, and that doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
But like, they're genuinely like, oh my God, you guys are great. And I most of my friend base there was in the improv community, and this was sort of true of most everybody I met. It was really welcoming, really open, like, hello, yes, come here. You know, big open arms sort of thing.
Awesome.
There were a lot of people there who weren't Kiwis, so there were a lot of English people, Scottish, you know, I met a few Irish people.
Very diverse.
Yeah, it was really diverse.
It's a really cool island.
It was cool.
Yeah, well, both of them,
yeah. Yes, there are two.
Yes.
Well, two main ones and then several smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you did improv there as well.
I did.
And what was, you say they call it?
Impro.
They just killed the V.
They sure did.
Why?
I think, and I don't know, but my theory is because they're very, very Keith Johnstone inspired.
Oh.
And his book is called Impro. I'm not sure if that's right.
I don't know.
I never asked.
We'll have to, I don't know, Google it.
I could probably find somebody on Facebook right now.
Ask Keith
be like,
Johnstone. Keith, can you give us a little help
somebody
here?
Let me know. I don't really know. That's my guess, though.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
Impro.
So was it similar? What were the same things? Like, what were they teaching you there?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's all a means to a similar end, entertain the audience. It was very much focused on storytelling and narrative, which is a lot different to what the UCB guys do with game.
Definitely.
The storytelling, I actually took an entire 8-week class just on storytelling for improv. And then we did like a long form class, which also focused a lot on the storytelling and, you know, creating a platform, really establishing those characters, the environment, all this stuff. And then there's a tilt in the scene, sort of like the why are we watching the scene moment. And then the conclusion and all this stuff. And it was very, I don't know, I don't want to say long and drawn out because that's not what I mean. But it was just very, very structured and put together. And like you have to think of this, that, and the other to create this whole narrative arc. Yeah. Which a lot of times created these really beautiful, sort of slow moving, yet still very entertaining, you know, still hilarious, but just sort of slow, beautiful, like poetic scenes that were really like deep and just human. Like you were watching like a real, like just, it was great. Yeah. It was beautiful.
It's very theatrical.
Yes.
That's what I love about that. Is that, you know, like you get to, what I've come to find is it's really the truth in it, you know? Like what is the truth of this? Why are we so affected and touched by this? And you get to watch that magic happen and unfold. And I love storytelling. I tell stories, you know, in that way. And then so the narrative of everything and sometimes it does get difficult when you're trying to differentiate between like the comedy of the game and like the comedy of real life. And you know, there's all these different ways.
And the relationships and the and I was just getting chills just when we were talking about it just now. Yeah,
it's really fun. And
it's just it's so like just deep and human and just I don't know. I really I loved watching it. And I loved being a part of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so, and just to kind of like jump off on that real quick. Yeah. So you and I, before we started, talked briefly about Jimmy Carrane. Yeah. And Jimmy being in Chicago and teaching that slow play style. What about that, besides everything that you described, what about that really fits your personal playing style? What about that do you really enjoy? Like how do you find yourself being enthralled into that and wanting to do it more?
Well, I think I really enjoy just acting in general. And I think that kind of gives me an outlet to really, to be more into my characters and really have a connection with my, like a deep personal connection with the scene partner. And that kind of connection where you end the scene and you're just like, whoa, I have to go shake this off.
I love that.
Oh gosh. And that's a lot. There's a lot of that. I mean, there was a lot of, play the game and the quick and the fast and the funny, but there was definitely, big emphasis on the slow storytelling, which
Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you do any shows down there?
I did.
Awesome. How was that?
I did a lot of shows. It was so fun.
Yeah.
They do, in addition to like the slow, storytelling, long form, they also do a lot of short form as well. Keith Johnstone has a couple of formats, the Maestro and the Gorilla.
Yeah.
And the Maestro is like a short form show, and nobody's on a team or anything, but you get numbers, and they call up the numbers, and those numbers play together. Oh, have you?
In Austin.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not the only one who knows what it is.
I know Maestro. I've been in it.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. And
I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah, and they eliminate people as you go, and you end up with a winner at the end of the night, and it's just this, it was described to me as a great big conspiracy to have the audience have fun.
So much fun.
So great.
Yeah, it's almost it's my reference to it is really, it's almost like this moment where you have to choose to play a persona in the external frame of the show.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, like if you're just kind of a stand back person and nobody knows you, then you don't get any of that attention, that people don't vote for you. Because they're voting for the people that they like or hate. It's like one of the two.
Yeah.
And I realized that the more I watched it, I was like, man, it'd be great to be bad guy wrestler right here. And I could see the veterans, the people who had done the show before or had been in Austin for a while that knew it, like how they played that out. And it was so fun.
It's
and
like
inspiring.
a show within a show. And exactly. It's exactly what it is.
And us theater geeks, we love it when it gets super complex and deep like that. You're just like
layers.
Yeah.
It was fun. So I did several of those.
Cool.
Yeah, they had did one of those in, can't remember if it was the Improv Festival, or they had like a little mini like festival around Christmas. They called it a Christmas cracker.
Yeah.
Like the little things that you pull.
Oh, cool.
For our American friends.
Yeah, right? Yeah. We have no idea what the traditions of Christmas are like in New Zealand. So, yeah.
It was hot and sunny.
Hot and sunny.
Beautiful.
When it comes to any other cultures, we just shut it down, guys. That's it. No more. So you got a little Christmas cracker.
Yeah, we did that. And then I also got to play, so I did a few shows here and there. I produced my own shows. I did sort of like I called it Stitch Tactics style. So it wasn't like, guys, this is Chicago American style. It was like, this is what I know how to do, so let's do it. Yeah. Kind of style. So I produced a couple shows, short form shows. And then I also was a part of an improvised soap opera.
Cool.
Ugh. Oh my God. Let me tell you about this.
Yes.
It was 8 weeks, and you had just episodes of the soap opera over 8 weeks, and the same characters came back. And so you were playing the same character for 8 weeks. And I was a guest, so I did 2 episodes. And, oh, wow. I want to do one here in the States.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And it was definitely that storytelling narrative sort of thing was sort of the spine of the whole experience. We were set in New Zealand, a small town in New Zealand, and I played a woman named Amelia Armstrong, and I was a tourist, and then it turned out that I had killed someone in America, and so I fled to New Zealand to escape the law. And I got a little crazy. I ended up holding someone at knife point.
Maggie, are you really revealing that you left America?
I wouldn't be here if that's
You came in all like, the cops are after me. I was like, what are you talking about? You're afraid to be back in America? No, this sounds great.
It was so cool. It was so much fun. And there was a moment where it was either my character was the crazy one, or his character was the sort of evil one. And I was like, well, I'll just be like, yeah, okay, I did it. Yes, and sure, why not? Yeah. And then it just went from there.
Oh, boy.
So, oh my gosh, cool. It was so fun.
Yeah. And so it was like that run then. You had 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it was like the episode, or the show was over, right? Yeah. I mean, that was it. And then did it come back for a season 2?
They do. Well, that was the 7th season, I think.
Oh, wow.
So
they were already like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. You just kind of plopped yourself.
What's up, guys?
Just right
Can I play? Yeah.
soap opera would be, really.
Right.
Popping in and popping out. Everybody's
pretty much
dying.
That's what
So
I did.
that's
It
awesome.
was great. Yeah, I think that was the 7th one.
Cool.
And they've done it, years previous.
Oh wow,
So,
that's so great. I
yeah,
love to
loved
hear
it.
that there's other troops out there and people that are just doing fun things.
Yeah.
Just makes them happy.
Just
like,
fun things. There was a lot of like genre work, like specifically like a Jane Austen improvised show.
Beautiful.
A Doctor Who improvised show, which was so good.
Those were both at CIF. They did a couple of those this year.
There you go.
It's fun to watch those. I saw
So cool.
Batman, this whole Batman improv thing down in Austin,
Oh my
you
God.
know?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It was just, there's so many different places to explore that you don't really realize when you're just doing sort of like, I don't want to call it plain improv because it's never plain, it's always awesome.
Right.
But just, you're just a short form show, a living room short form show. But there's so much more when you add that layer of, this, that, or the other
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
There's so many more places to go.
I'm on a... Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
no, I'm
on
interrupting
a
you.
Herald team that's doing stuff like that where we're just learning like straight improv to like get it down or whatever. Yeah. But then we've talked about layering on something else, some sort of genre to make it more intense. And like I did a move the other day where I did something where it was like film noir.
Oh, yeah?
Because film noir had come up in the prior scene. And I was like, let's pull this and make it film noir genre,
Yeah.
And it kind of worked, but eventually, it fizzled out because it was a standalone scene, so it didn't get the chance to like grow and build off that genre. But when you put the whole thing together, it's so much fun.
It's so cool. So cool.
Awesome. Cool. So then, all right, so you're down there, you're doing that thing. Were you working while you were down there?
Yeah, I was temping.
Okay.
And I made big bucks.
Really?
Temping.
Wow.
Yeah. Surprisingly, yeah.
What's cost of living like?
It's I paid $100 a week for the place where I was staying, and I was staying with my boyfriend and then 2 other flatmates who are fantastic. I love them. So I was paying $100 a week, splitting the room with my boyfriend. So that was it was kind of in terms of the minimum wage plus the cost of living, it was really equivalent to here. Wow. Honestly, it wasn't too awfully ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to kind of have a good basis of that and you're comfortable with it and you can deal with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you moved back.
Yep.
Because things didn't work out.
That's all right.
That's okay.
I'm
yeah.
here.
So now you're back.
Yeah, part of that too was I wanted to go to vet tech school.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were you finally ready for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see that earlier.
Yes, I did. I know.
I was listening. I was listening.
There you go. Yeah. No, I'm going to school in the fall, so I'm stoked. I'm
Where are you
so
going?
excited. I'm going to Metropolitan Community College.
Good college.
The Maple Woods campus.
Yes, that's where my brother went.
Hey, Maple Woods.
Yeah.
So oh my God, I'm so excited.
Great. Yeah.
Yes.
And so in the meantime, what are you doing like job wise? I mean, what's happening right now?
Right now, I'm working at Noodles and Company.
Ooh, I love Noodles and Company.
Flinging some pesto around.
I love it.
I know.
So
it's
good.
so good.
Did they recently change up their menu?
Yes, and everybody who comes in who haven't been in there a while, they're like, "Oh my God, you guys changed it," and
I'm
they have to
so
stand there for like
confused.
20 minutes, like.
I'm sorry. With them. I'm one of those people. I'm so confused.
What's hard about it? It's just noodles.
I like pictures. I like when they
big pictures.
like pictures with like simple letters. That's what I like.
It's got like all the calorie counts on it, and everyone's like, "I don't understand what these calories mean."
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this hard?
No, I actually, the last time I went in there, it didn't seem that difficult to order, so I was...
It's not, but especially because you can do whatever you want. I'm just
Right.
like, okay, yeah.
Put stuff in a bowl,
Sure,
man.
yeah.
I'll eat it. I'm going to throw some sriracha on it anyway, so...
Oh my God. You're like the easiest. There are people that come in that I just...
Yeah. Very, very light picky eater when it comes to things like that, because I like things just thrown together and then give me a little hot sauce and I'm done, so...
Fair enough.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. So, all right. So you got a job now. You're back here. You're doing that that whole thing with the vet tech.
Yep.
And you said you wanted to maybe do something like the soap opera episode
God,
thing.
I
So
would
who are
love
you?
to.
Are you working with anybody? I mean, what's going on
At
right
the
now?
moment, I recently was hired at Comedy City.
Cool.
So I'm working with all those awesome folks down in Comedy City.
And a new venue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Down,
it looks great. 3600 Broadway.
3600 Broadway, guys. If you haven't heard about that, check it out.
Right next
Comedy
door
City.
to the Uptown Theater.
Yeah.
They say across the street from the Uptown Theater, but the first time I went there, I was looking across the street, not next door, across the street,
Yeah.
and I was wrong.
Yeah.
So it technically is across a street, but it's next door.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole situation over there, you know. It's like, well,
It's
we
in
get a
there.
parking lot, make
It's
some
fair.
things, and
Yeah.
but that's great. So you're there,
Yes. Yep.
and you're playing.
Yes.
Have you done some shows
I
now?
had my very first show, I think, last weekend.
Cool. But this is at the old place. They haven't quite moved yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the last show, I believe, at the old place, the one
Yeah.
I played in, and now they're
We'll just
packing it all up.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. How'd it
Yeah.
feel to be back in that whole thing?
It was fun. I was
Good.
like, oh, I miss this stage and this place. And
Mm-hmm.
we played a lot. Stitch Tactics actually played up there when I was in college and a little bit out of college. We played up there at the 10 o'clock show.
Yeah. I remember. I saw some of those.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, when I was dating
Oh,
Havana.
Lord.
Yeah.
yeah, you did
Yeah.
that.
What do you? Oh yeah, you did that.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah. For a little stint.
Because you were at that party.
Oh, that
That
party.
party.
Ugh, that was a
party.
crazy night. I was actually going to use that story in a storytelling piece that I was writing.
Oh, God.
Because it's a hilarious
It is
story.
hilarious.
And I almost lost everything. By everything, I mean my manhood. Oh, but for another time.
Yes.
But for another
Yes.
time. All right, so real quick, I'm going to do something I like to call a lightning round.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, right?
All
I'm just
right.
going to rapid fire questions at you. They're just kind of silly or weird or fun, but whatever. And
Okay.
just kind of go with it. All right?
Alrighty.
Cool. Let's see. Favorite time of year?
The fall.
The fall?
Yes.
Good. Favorite artist?
What kind of artist?
Paint.
Dolly.
Dolly. Oh, good, good. The last time you found yourself confused or bewildered?
Oh, right now?
Right now?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's
Mm-hmm.
a really good... I don't know if I ever take... Because I just kind of take it as I go, and I'm like, I'm confused. I don't know. I don't care, and I just let it go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Cool, cool. What would you have on your tombstone?
I took risks.
I took risks.
I did it. I flew 10,000 miles. That's a risk.
That's a risk? Oh, I couldn't agree more.
20,000
Absolutely.
technically.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah.
What music are you really into right now?
I'm actually really into kind of going back into my nostalgia, like early middle school phase. So I put Franz Ferdinand in the car when I was driving over here. I've been listening to a little bit of NSYNC, not gonna lie.
Good stuff.
Yep, so
I like
just kind
NSYNC.
of throwing it back
Yeah.
to the embarrassing days.
That's okay.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
so fun. It's
It
fun.
is, you know? Stay true to your roots.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. How many thread counts do you have to have in your sheets or pillowcases?
Soft enough that I can sleep on it. How is that?
That's
for
not
an
a
answer?
thread count.
I don't know anything about thread counts.
Don't
I
either.
don't know.
Follow-up question.
Okay.
How do you like your wattage in your light bulbs?
60 watts.
60 watt. That's so simple. You could say
course.
400 thread count, 60 watts.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Last time that you went to an amusement park?
Forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
Summer after I graduated high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was it at?
Worlds of Fun.
Worlds of Fun?
Yes.
Love Worlds of Fun.
Yep.
It's changed a lot now.
Has it? I
Oh
haven't been.
man, I actually think it's better.
Really?
Personally, they do this whole combined thing. It's really good.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to go. I've been wanting to go recently.
Yeah. You should go.
I should go.
It's fun.
Yeah.
PC or Mac?
PC.
Oh, this interview is over.
No!
I'm just kidding. Oh, good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's all I've got for the lightning round.
Cool.
Thanks.
That
Yeah,
was scary.
rapid fire. I know, right? Came out of nowhere. Yeah, awesome. So what else do you want to do while you're here? Like you're doing the vet tech stuff, and we talked about like maybe you're doing Comedy City stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are you with anyone? Are you looking for love? Are you just trying to like get through life? What direction are you headed right now?
At the moment, I'm not really looking for anything relationship wise. I'm just kind of living my life, and
that's good.
I don't know if I'm quite ready at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to get through school. Apparently, like I had orientation this last week, and it's going to be a really intense
How so?
program. it's going to be classes are going to be fine, but it's from what other people have said who have gone through the class, you're going to need to study at least, X amount of hours a day, like 2 to 4, and have this homework and that project and study groups and just crazy amount of stuff. In addition, we have animals that we're actually learning with that live on campus. And so we'd have to go in and we're going to be responsible for, the social well-being of a specific animal, and then they get adopted out at the end of the semester. So we have to like train them and socialize them and all this stuff. So I have to spend time with that animal.
Wow.
And then we have like a kennel rotation where we clean all the kennels, and just it's gonna be like I will have no time for anything else anyway.
I love that though.
Yeah.
You're really putting yourself into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You go into that field and if you don't learn with these animals and you don't learn what you're gonna be doing, why would you waste your money on that school?
Yeah.
Waste your time and your money,
Absolutely.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. So that will then hopefully lead you to what kind of career? I mean, what is it that you really want to put your hands in?
Dog butts.
Dog butts. I think that's really good. Oh, yeah. Just want to get right on that career track.
Yeah. No, I think, veterinary technology, I've realized that I want to work with animals, the end. I've got improv up here, and, dogs and cats are, so.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to do with it, but I can work in a clinic, I can work in a laboratory, I could work at a zoo, I could work all kinds of places.
To work at a zoo. And I'm not even an animal person, but I love zoos to no end. I don't know what it is, and I hate that you have to go to a zoo and you don't get to see them in their natural environment. But man, there's something about big cats.
Oh yes,
I am mesmerized by lions, tigers, leops. Cheetahs.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Just let me take you home.
Yeah.
I would rather have a big cat than a little cat any day. I mean, little cats are good. I'd probably, and I love dogs too.
Yeah.
And so it's just any of that. Oh my gosh. I think you should work at a zoo. I'm just throwing it out there. Great.
Hey, well, the Kansas City Zoo does have vet tech internships and stuff, so
do it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
they're unpaid, so maybe.
Yeah. So would you stay here? Are you willing to travel again?
Oh, I'm absolutely going to travel again.
Yeah.
I think for the next 2 years I'll be here. Maybe probably
Sure.
for a wee while after that. But recently I took a road trip around the States. That was before I went to New Zealand. So not that recently.
Where'd you go?
Chicago. Mm-hmm. We saw TJ and Dave.
Love those guys.
The guy I was with, that was my New Zealand boyfriend.
Yeah.
He was he's a theater guy. He doesn't really like improv as much as I like it. And he was kind of I guess I'll go see these guys in Chicago. And he came out of the show he was just blown away.
TJ and Dave is more than improv. They are just everything about how great acting should be. And it just so happens to be really funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those guys are so good.
I was watching their show, and I had been doing improv for 6-7 years at that time, and I was just looking at it okay, is this really improvised? And then there was just a split second where one of them just went, and I was like, yes! And I just lost my shit because it was so great. Mm-hmm. There's just that moment of this. They were having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I was so into it. They were so into it, and I was just, ugh! It was just that tension, that release of that tension. I just, oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. And you knew at that moment, they're this is improv. That's great.
Another one of our guests actually didn't get to do a scene with TJ, but was at I.O., and got to be up on stage with him, and he said he was trying to get into a scene with him, but everybody was trying to get into a scene with him. And then I got to hang out with TJ when him and Susan were here for the KC Improv Festival.
Yeah, I took his workshop when he was here.
Oh my gosh, I heard that workshop. And I didn't take it, and I really wish I had, but I heard that workshop was the workshop to take.
I was in that workshop, and I was the worst in the class. But
you're still learning though.
Yeah, no, and I did so many things that TJ was like, all right, here, let me give you a note. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, TJ's giving me a note, I win.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I'm okay with that. I can suck as much as I want, as long, And I learned a lot of great things.
Yeah, that's so great. Those guys, TJ and Dave, hands down two of the best improvisers in the world. I mean, just incredible. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Cool. So you went to Chicago. Where else?
Chicago, and then we went to Boston, which I loved. Definitely want to go back to Boston. Mm-hmm. New York City.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. Went down to New Orleans.
Wow.
It was hot. It was in the middle of June. Oh, God. But I loved it. And then we took, and this was all on the Greyhound bus, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yep.
I have a terror of the Greyhound bus. I rode it one time.
That is legitimate.
You know, no, I sat next to a woman who just got out of jail in Mexico.
Whoa.
All the way back from Texas
Girl.
to here. Yeah, like, I thought I was going to get stabbed.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. You did all this on the Greyhound?
Yeah. We sat next to a guy on the way from D.C. to New Orleans, and he was a nice gentleman, and we were on the bus overnight, and it was like a 3-person seat. That was like the only seats left on the bus, and I really wanted to sit with my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm not going to sit by people by myself. And so we had to share this 3-person seat with this gentleman. He was very, very nice, and then the next morning he's like, so what church do y'all attend, and are you spiritual, and are you religious? And I don't believe in evolution. And he's just like going on and on and on about his personal beliefs, and I'm like, you believe whatever you want, but this is not the time for this conversation in a closed space.
No.
Where, me and the boyfriend were like, we disagree very much with you. And, just like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't go to church, but I don't want to tell you that because I don't know what you're going to do. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Jesus is back like the McRib.
By popular demand.
All right, well, we're going to wrap things up. The last little bit of this is where you get to ask me questions. Anything at all. You could ask about life, improv, acting, whatever, relationships. I don't care. I'm open as well. So one question, multiple questions. We've got a little bit of time.
Okay, sure. What is your goal as an improviser? What do you want to do?
It's a great question.
I know.
I am really looking forward to just working with other great artists, writing. My real goal right now, if I'm super honest with myself, is to be a joke writer for a late night TV show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what
so
I've been really working on that. And I've even been given the note of like, you need to do that, and then I was given the note of you need to not do that so much where people can steal your jokes. Oh. And I was like, interesting, because I didn't really think about the fact that, like you put jokes out there and you want to entertain people, but there's other people that want to rip that off and take it and be their own. So.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, improv, really, I love it. It's like the great foundation for everything, and I'm hoping that it leads to a job somewhere where I can do some writing or some producing, maybe even some directing someday. I took some directing classes while I was at KU as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Loved it. I worked with John Gonbeck Tedesco.
Oh, yeah.
One-on-one, that guy is a genius. Like, at the time, I felt like that he was my Dell. Because I just got to go sit in his office and he would just spout off like director notes and things at me, and just like, I was like soaking it up. Man, it was my senior year and it was like a senior thing, and
how cool.
Man, it was so great. And he came and watched this little play I directed, and so I want improv to help lead me to an actual job where I can, because let's face it, other than like if you get to be where Susan Messing is or Jimmy Carrane is, like you can't really do much with improv until you start teaching it. Yeah. But
that's okay though. Well, that's awesome fun too.
And I would love to do that as well. Yeah. Since my teaching career was a big flub.
Oh.
So.
Womp womp. Well, you're gonna find somewhere where nobody knows you and nobody knows that.
Yeah.
And it'll be great.
Yeah. They're like, that guy's a failed teacher. Let's not let him teach improv.
Oh, we don't know this guy. He looks okay. Let's give him a shot.
Bring him in off the street.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
How has improv helped you grow as a person? That's always something, because it helps me so much, but I always want to know kind of how it's affected other people.
That's a really great question. I like that a lot.
Maybe I should do my own podcast.
Yeah. Get on it. But don't steal mine.
Okay. God, I'm sorry.
No, that's awesome. It's gosh, I used to be such an angry person. Like, I had a terrible temper. I was always just negative, and it turned my whole entire world around. It showed me how to be positive, to accept people, to open my mind to new things, to socialize, just to be a human. And I mean that in the most sincere way, because I feel like a lot of humans don't know how to be human these days.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird to me.
I agree with you.
And I think that we're a very communal being, and having the improv community and having this tribalness to it, it makes it so much more enriching for whenever I am outside of that, and I give that back to other people in the world. I love interacting with people. It's what's given me is that ability to just be okay with everything and just roll with the punches and go with it. So
that's awesome, and that's something I love too about the improv community in general. Is that everybody has that. We've developed that similar feeling. So everybody's super like friendly and well. Like the people in New Zealand, it was like, hey, come on, be a part of our group, be our friend. We love you, and that's how most improvisers I've ever met are. And it's such a different thing. Like when you go, like if I went into class, for example, for my orientation, people were just like, nobody was talking, everybody was really quiet. And I was like, hey guys, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
So it's such a once you get out into the real world, you're like, whoa, how did I become this? Several people in the recent weeks have called me bubbly. I never thought of myself as a bubbly person, but apparently I'm very bubbly.
I think take it and run with it.
Okay.
And
sure.
then, don't let anybody pop your bubbles.
No.
So.
I like that. I'm gonna put that on a Post-it note and put it on my laptop.
With a little cat.
Yes. Yes.
That's so good.
That's perfect.
Awesome. Well, Maggie, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
This has been fantastic.
This is fun.
And it's been great getting to know you. So thanks again. And thanks to Dale, as usual, for always helping us out. And thank you to you guys for watching. So we'll see you next time on Getting to Know Your Friends. Bye.
Cool.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.